Good morning. Thank you for joining me again. This is Ian Gray here with another Sunrise session. Definitely wanted to share some things that I've done to reduce stress in my life. If you were to have met me a few years ago, um, I certainly wasn't chilling out the way that I get to now, and certainly didn't have as big of a smile on my face. In fact, a lot of my friendships, my relationships were very soured because I took it on as my responsibility to solve so many different problems, and the way I was going about it really just forced me to be working all the time, but on overload and in this state of disarray in my mind, in my body, and everything I was doing. And there was a few simple things that I learned how to do to reduce my stress, and anybody can do them. And it's so important to really do these exercises or something that works for you to reduce your level of stress. Because when we get stressed out, what actually happens is our blood in our body actually moves outside to our limbs. And that's because we were born and we were created and we evolved in a way that when we got stressed, that was there to protect us. We had to go find the last bit of food. We had to run away from the tiger or the bear or whatever might be chasing us. So our body said, okay, what we'll do is in these states where there's a problem, we're going to throw all the blood to the outer limbs because you might need to run, so fight or flight. You might need to run, you might need to defend yourself, or you might need to punch somebody or something. And that was how we learned how to survive. You might need that last step to get to the water. And that's how we evolved. And what happens is when we go into that state, our brain waves also completely change into a beta state. And it still serves us, right? If we need a time where we have to react quick, or we're in a sports or driving or certain areas, we need to be able to have this state. However, we've taken this state into our daily lives. And now we're stressed about what that person wrote in a text message, which we may be interpreting completely wrong, or that we need to send a certain email, or that we're late for our meeting. But what happens actually is when this blood goes to the outer parts of our body, it's not in our organs where it needs to be. And when it's not in our organs, then there's opportunistic disease that can take over. That's always there. As long as we're functioning properly and we're in the right mind state, it will never bother us. But that's why when we get really stressed, a lot of times we'll find out that we get sick. Another thing that happens when we get really stressed and this blood goes outside to our outer limbs, it also moves places in our brain. So it goes from the frontal lobe area where we do all of our problem solving, all of our thoughts, all of that creation, all the ingenuity that we have. It moves from there and basically goes to the back of our brain, which is our default mode. So a lot of people refer to it as our Labrador brain. And Labradors are great dogs and everything, but we as humans should expect to think a little bit more. So it's really important that we are not in this stress state at all times. And there's so many things on our lives that really put us in that stress state. So there's a few things that I just changed about my life that drastically reduced my stress. I mean, it made it almost down to none. And now when I have stress, I have a few exercises to get away with, and I'll give you a little bonus on one of them. So the first thing that I changed in my daily routine was I used to get up in the morning, my alarm would go off on my cell phone, and then before I even got out of bed, before I did anything, I would check my emails and I would check my Facebook. This is one of the worst things that I could do because immediately I got active into all these things I had to do today. And a lot of them were not important. A lot of them were information that I didn't need to have. And they really just actually put my mind on this alert mode and frustrated me because I'm like, how did I get 50 emails over the course of the night? How did I, why is this person saying this thing on this post? Why are they attacking this person? Why are they attacking that person? Why are they attacking me? Whatever it was. And it would get me fired up. And the first thing I would start my day off with was some kind of negative information. And what I actually ended up doing is I ended up changing that habit of going on to Facebook first thing in the morning, checking my email first thing in the morning. Rather than doing that, I decided, you know what? Let me write in my journal. Let me write some things that I'm grateful for. let me actually check the words that I put in my journal to make sure that I'm using positive thoughts and I'm not talking in this negative, cryptic way. And it was a good way for me to get that negative information out of my head, because when you put thoughts to paper, you can see how you're writing it very easily. You could see that you're talking in a negative way and you're beating up on yourself and you're expecting too much of others. But when you're just in your head, it kind of just passes through. So by journaling in the morning, writing down gratitude lists in the morning, or reviewing gratitude lists first thing in the morning, and then getting up and doing some exercise, totally changed from, going straight into work mode. Work can wait. I promise you, work can wait. It doesn't have to be done when you first get up. I'm sure there's occasions where you might have to do it, or you might feel like you have to do it, but majority of the time it can change. The second thing that I really changed that made a huge difference was I stopped watching the news. I stopped watching the news. It made it so much easier to go out through my day. The news is designed at this day and time. It's not designed to inform you with what's going on in the world. It's not designed to just keep everybody abreast. The news is designed to raise fear, raise tension, raise emotion, some kind of serious emotion that's captivating, that keeps you watching it. That's why they got so many things flashing, and it's always breaking news on the bottom, and it's always, I shouldn't say always, but majority of the time, it's something that you probably don't want to hear. And what happens is immediately when you go into this fear state, or any of these states that it seems like the news seems to project out on people, is you get into stress. So replace the news. Seriously, just replace the news. I promise you, you won't miss it after just a few weeks. You will not miss it, and you won't miss anything that you need to know that's going on. You will find out. I promise you, there's enough people talking about it. Replace the news with something inspirational, something that gets you fired up to listen to every single morning. You don't need to know about the current events. You don't need to know what's going on all over the world until there's some kind of resource to tell you all the great things going on, because I promise you, there's many bad things. There's twice as many great things going on. You just have to learn how to find it, and you have to put your attention towards it, and it will come to you. And when that happens, stress levels go way down, and you start feeling inspired, and you start taking action throughout the day, and it just becomes so magical and so amazing. So the third thing that I did to reduce my stress that helped tremendously was, before I went to bed each day, this also helped to sleep. Before I went to bed every day, I'd make a to-do list. And all the things that I wanted to do or needed to do the next day, and then I would prioritize them. So this way, when it was time for me to get to work in the morning, I actually could just take action, and I knew what order to take the action. And usually I put the hardest one first, because then I get over it and get through it. And that helps so much. And hopefully you get to a point one day where you don't have a to-do list, and you can wake up and there's like 3 or 4 things, instead of having a whole day of to-dos, and life just becomes this one task after another, after another, after another. If you start doing this, you'll start to see that there's not a whole lot you have to do tomorrow. There's just 3 or 4 mission critical things, maybe even 2 mission critical things, and then the rest are bonuses if you get to them, which allows you to take a little bit of time for yourself, which allows you to relax a little bit. So that's really helped me. And another thing that really helped me is a to-be list. And that's the type of person I want to be. And it's so much more important than my to-do list. It's how I interact with every single person, every single object that I'm around. It's that little extra care, whether it's how I take out my chickens or feed them in the morning, or how I interact with my wife, or how I actually spend time with my employees, or that person at cash register. And it's so fulfilling to see the light in other people, and then when you let them know you see it, how they sparkle. It's amazing. So take a minute to think about the type of person you want to be, and make a list of it, and just read it, and know that's what you want to do before the day even starts, while you're drinking your coffee, while you're eating your breakfast. Listen to something motivational, and you can read your to-be list. It can be 3 things, it can be 5 things, whatever you want it to be, and you will stay on point throughout the day. Carry it around with you at first if you need to. So that's my morning sunrise session. I really hope and appreciate if you could share this. I know a lot of people do and really benefit from it. I hear so many great things. Comment if you have any questions. I love you all. Thank you so much for your support. It's been an honor to have you in my circle, and we'll meet soon, I hope. Thank you.